what are backlinks, why you need backlinks, and why, more importantly, you need to focus on the quality of the backlink instead of, the amount, the quantity of the backlinks. And if you're wondering, first and foremost, just what is a backlink, the simplest way I can explain it is whenever, you're on a website and you're reading an article and you see some hyperlink text that will take you to another website, that hyperlink text is the backlink. The text that is actually labeled is what's called the anchor text. That is what you are actually trying to rank for. So whenever you go to say buy a backlink from somebody, usually you will have somewhere where you can tell them, hey, for the anchor text, I want it to say pest control or pest control service or pest control Plano, Texas, whatever the case may be. Sometimes you can't even control this, of course, if you're just getting natural backlinks. That's how a lot of us first start getting backlinks, using citations like Angie's List, your Google business profile, Facebook, your social media links, all that stuff. You can't control the actual anchor text. The anchor text is usually just going to be your website URL, like for us, preferredpestmanagement.org. And there's ways to actually track this for free as well. This tool here is just called Ahrefs or Ahrefs, however you want to pronounce it. They do have a free version. We don't even use the upgraded version as well. We just like to compare this to SEMrush, which is another one that we've mentioned on this channel a couple of times as well. SEMrush, I believe, is somewhere around like $100 or so per month, and maybe a little bit more, like $130. It just depends on which package you're going. This one, if I recall, it's somewhere around like $79 or maybe more actually. I think if you pay annually, it's a little bit cheaper, around $100 a month. Like I said, we don't even use the paid version ourselves. We just use the free version. We can usually get just enough information to at least have an idea of, how we are doing overall. Usually I like looking at kind of like the 1 year statistics. So you can see overall our referring domains had dropped. Referring domains is how many different websites are linking to you, because of course you have your total number of backlinks, but then you have the actual like referring domains. And ours had dropped all the way down to like a 10 or 11 at one point going into late last year, and hence why our organic traffic had just kind of been non-existent. I noticed that we weren't getting very many form inquiries unless if they were coming from our Google business profile, which we'll break down towards the end of this video as well, just an overall update about that as well for you guys, because that's another important aspect of your business, to generate lots of free leads for your business. But as you can see, as we started the year, I started focusing a little bit more on trying to build these backlinks. Some of it was as simple as just going in and updating some of our citations. Some of the backlinks had dropped off from citations not being updated or expiring or whatever the case may be. You guys that have been following the channel for a while know that we just recently purchased a couple of link building strategies through Chris Palmer SEO, which he actually has a YouTube channel as well. And then just recently, we actually just purchased a pretty high dollar backlink from Goldie Agency. If you don't know what Goldie Agency is, it's Julian Goldie. He's another, SEO expert, if that's what you want to refer to them as. He also has a YouTube channel, as a matter of fact. And I always suggest definitely look into whoever you are going to be working with. That is why me personally, I'm kind of dabbing my feet in the water with like multiple agencies. I'm not just like going all in with one. The backlink that we actually just purchased, we just purchased this like 2 days ago. It usually takes anywhere between a couple weeks to a month or so for the link building to actually be completed and for that link to actually show up, being indexed, or Google crawls it and accepts it as a legit backlink for your website. We take a look here at this link that we bought. So we just bought one link, and the domain rating, which if you don't know what DR is, if you go over here, that is this number here. That's what, it's not necessarily a number that you need to just be overly concerned about. Obviously the higher the better, but in all honesty, as long as it, from my experience, from what I've seen across all other different pest control websites that I've analyzed, as long as you're getting DRs 10 plus in terms of their domain rating or domain authority, I think is what SEMrush calls it. I think they call it DA. And then over here on Ahrefs, they call it DR. They're just kind of, saying how authoritative a website is. This number, though, can be very easily manipulated. There's actually plenty of YouTube videos out there where, these SEO experts have like gone in and like manipulated, like they'll show you straight up that like I took my DR from 0 or 1 to 90. Well, not 90, but usually like 50 or 60. 90 is super hard to get. That's like, your Reddits of the world and stuff like that, like these giant, huge websites that have been around for decades at this point. So that's another thing that I suggest is when you're buying backlinks, don't focus so much on the DR. As long as you're getting, like I said, anything above a 10 or 20, obviously the higher the better most of the time. But again, what you're really going to focus on the most is how much traffic is actually coming in from these links. So what you'll do is you can go into the backlinks. I'm just showing you like our backlink profile just so you'll have an idea. So whenever you're actually looking at a domain, you want to see, okay, how much traffic are we getting from this domain? And we just got actually just recently our backlink from SMU, which I believe this is going to help us big time because it's a local, SMU is a local college in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. They have a very high domain rating, and obviously they get a lot of traffic. They don't have just a ton of links going out everywhere. See, one like this where their domain traffic is 0, this isn't even gonna do anything. I did not, and it's a no follow link on top of that. So these type of links here, they do nothing. What you usually want to do is filter whenever you're looking at your own or you're looking at a competitor's website, filter it to do follow because those are the ones that only matter. And as you can see here, we only have like 8, at least on this current update, that are showing actual do follow links. And what you're looking for, like we said, is just how much domain traffic there is. If there's a lot of domain traffic, or at least just some domain traffic at all, then that's at least worth having. Obviously my backlink from griffinbthomas.com doesn't really matter, that's a small website. But all these here, they at least have traffic. You do not want to buy backlinks from low DR or even high DR because you'll see, like I said, there's a lot of websites that have found a way to manipulate their domain rating, but they have no traffic because Google doesn't play the whole DR, DA, all these games. Like they can sniff through the BS. They can know that a website is obviously full of just spam links because you can literally increase your DR just by buying hundreds of spam links. Like I said, there's tons of videos on this. So whenever you're going to buy a backlink, make sure that whoever you're buying it from isn't just, some type of trash link vendor who they've got a bunch of network of just bad links that have high DR, but then no traffic. If it has no traffic, it doesn't matter what the DR is. That is not going to help your website whatsoever. Does that make sense? I hope it does. If you all have any questions or need clarification about this or anything like that, just let me know in the comments, or you can reach out on our Discord group chat or Facebook groups, which are totally free to join. Of course, links for that are in the description under my LinkTree link down below. But back to Goldie Agency, like we said, we did purchase one with a 50 to 69 DR, which, like we said, assuming that this is going to have a high amount of traffic to it, then this is going to be a very helpful link. And the page that we're actually having them send the link to is our Pest Control Rowlett, Texas page, just to try to give some more link, because you're literally 1 to 2, especially in the pest control industry. I mean, we're not blog pages or things like this where we need thousands of backlinks. If you go and look at most of your competitors, most of them outside of course, the big boys like the Terminixes, the Orkins of the world, most companies, even the larger, like medium-sized businesses that are like regional-sized businesses, a lot of them only have referring domains from anywhere between like 50 to a couple of hundred different links across their entire website. So in most cases, you are just a handful of links from taking your website to, page 1, page 2 of Google for the important search terms that you want. I wanted to quickly pull up an example of one of my competitors who, I've been following this guy for a while now. I don't know him personally or anything like that. I just know he started his business around roughly the same time that I did. And look, he only has 92 backlinks from 42 domains. So all that we would essentially need to do over time is, roughly double our amount of domains. And another thing is, don't think about it so much in terms of the number of referring domains or the number of backlinks. Again, like I said, what matters the most is what is the quality of the backlink you're getting. Because if you go and get, say, 100 backlinks from 100 different domains, you pay, say, $1,000, so $10 per link. Don't do this, by the way. If you do that, you're going to get a whole bunch of trash backlinks that, yes, may or may not, it could actually harm your website, and you can actually get penalized by Google for doing this because it doesn't show up as like, Google calls it something like organic backlinks, essentially. Pretty much it's against Google's guidelines to even buy backlinks in the first place. but it's a very gray area in terms of buying backlinks, because a lot of times if you reach out organically to websites to say, hey, I have this helpful article, they will literally say like, okay, that's going to cost $5,000 or $100 or whatever they think that a backlink from them is worth, because they know that these backlinks are worth money. So the main thing when Google's saying, from what I understand, when you go to buy backlinks is it just needs to look legit. Like obviously if you go from 10 referring domains to 1,000 in 1 to 2 weeks, obviously that's going to be a huge red flag. You might as well just kill your website and start a new one, because Google's going to penalize the heck out of your website and you'll probably never recover. But if you can over time, say every week or two, you're getting 1 to 5 backlinks and you're just slowly building these high quality backlinks, it's not going to take you very much time at all. And in most cases, I haven't looked at their actual backlinks. We can actually take a look real quick, see what their backlinks look like. I am going to be limited in terms of how much I can see, because again, this is the free version. So we want to look at the ones that are actually follow. And that's the downside of a lot of these free tools. As soon as you do like 3 or 4 different reports, they're like, oh, you've already reached your limit. So anyways, the whole point is what you'll do is you'll just take a look at a couple of your competitors, just to get an idea of, okay, what does their backlink profile look like? And whenever you start to be able to see that, okay, the average competitor has, 40 backlinks, for example, from, 30 different domains. I'm just listing random numbers here, and their average authority score is 20, right? Then you can know, okay, like we said, the authority score is not everything. It's not a Google metric. It's not even anything that Google remotely considers. Again, what we're looking for is at least a high enough authority score, ideally 10, 20 or higher, and more importantly, traffic. Because if a website's getting traffic, obviously it is a trusted source by Google. So if we can start building backlinks and get upwards to where our competitor is at or higher, then we're definitely going to be outranking them. You can do everything in your power in terms of optimizing your website, using your key terms and all this SEO stuff. I mean, our SEO scores every time I'll run reports, depending on which tool you're using, we're always between 85 to 100 across the entire website. You can have the fastest website. We have one of the fastest websites out there. Like, you can have everything that you can possibly control in perfect or near perfect condition. But if you don't have enough backlinks, enough link juice to your website, you're just gonna plateau, which is essentially kind of what we've done. But if we go look at our Google Search Console here, we can see here, if we look at the last 12 months, things were actually shifting down. And then we finally started kind of plateauing with the average position rank, which was horrible, around 60. Now, I should say this is across the entire website. This is including all the blog posts, like all these different pages that we don't even really expect to rank, in all honesty. They're just helping us build topical authority more than anything. So we have to keep that in mind. But you can see here, like, we essentially kind of plateaued around an average page rank of 60. We were getting anywhere between 0 and maybe on a really good day 2 to 4 clicks once a blue moon, but like on average about 0 to 2 clicks a day, essentially. And then if we actually go and we look at our most recent, let's say just like the last 3 months, for example, if we pull up the last 3 months, you can see here that again, like we said, our rankings had kind of plateaued right around 60. But if you start to actually look closer over the last week specifically, since a couple of these backlinks have started actually showing up whenever we go and again go back to our overview here in Ahrefs, and we scroll down a little bit, look at our last year, you can see specifically over the last, we'll say 6 months, you can see here over the last week or so, we've gone from 16 referring domains all the way up to 22. So that is a huge little jump in not traffic, but in link juice in terms of backlinks from different domains in about a 2 week period. And if we go over here, you can almost see that kind of reflect itself. We'll even zoom in here a little bit closer on the 28-day range. So you can see specifically the lowest average was 74, and then all of a sudden right around Monday, right around the beginning of the week, again, just horrible, right around like 50 to 60, even 70s, and then boom, Monday we jumped up to an average position of 45, then 42, back down to 47, and then 49. And if we actually look at, like, I want to say yesterday, I think yesterday's was somewhere around like 50 to 55. So I'm still tracking this very closely, 54, but look at that. We had 5 total clicks with an average CTR of 68. And we're kind of getting off on another tangent here, because what you would want to do from here is see, okay, what search terms were performing the best. Pest control fate, we were all the way up to position 11. Never have been that high before. Fire ant control Plano, position 16. So that's like top to middle page 2. Pest control Saxy still hovering around page 2, top of page 3. And then of course it just continues to go down from there. But you want to at least see, okay, what is our winners? And then from there, a lot of times what I'll like to do is go ahead and click on that search term. So we had 2 impressions yesterday, and that was our pest control fate Texas page. So a lot of times what I'll like to do is see, okay, let's go analyze that page. Does it have any backlinks or new backlinks to it? Have I made any changes to it? And if so, obviously they have helped this page. Like if we go ahead and look at just say like the last 12 months or even just 6 months, like most recent data. So we can see overall, obviously, like this page doesn't get a lot of traffic, but it has been starting to get some more impressions lately as we've been making some edits to it. But as you can see, I mean, it's ranked as low as like 25. So this really hasn't ever been just a straight up terrible ranking page, but it hasn't been getting a lot of impressions until specifically the last week, or I guess the last few weeks, as a matter of fact. But as you can see, literally just at the beginning of the month, we were ranking an average of 24 for multiple days. And then all of a sudden we jumped up to 10, 10, and then what was it yesterday? 11. So there was obviously some change that we made to this page, or it may have gotten some backlinks, or some of our topical authority may be starting to kick in, because we did publish like 5 or 10 blogs around the Fate Texas search term specifically underneath of our Fate Texas page. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I do have videos about topical authority and silo structuring your website and all that stuff. I won't go into it in this video, trying to keep it relatively short. But like I said, this is just kind of an overall big update video for you guys, just showing you guys stuff that we've been working on. It's been a lot of just pulling my hair out, trying to find some good companies for doing this. I'm interested to see, you know, how the next month or so unfolds. I'm probably not going to do a whole lot else in the meantime in terms of investing into backlinks marketing. I have been talking to a few different companies. I'm actually going to be talking to one of you guys actually suggested it, Rhino Marketing, Rhino Digital Marketing. If you just type in like Rhino Pest Control Marketing, they're like the first one to pop up. One of you guys actually suggested them, and then of course some of the old school ones like Scorpion and just some other freelancers that I've reached out to on like Reddit and things of this nature. I'm just talking to a bunch of people, getting an idea of, you know, who's legit, who's not, what does everyone have to offer, what is their pricing. And whenever I finally narrow it down to 1 or 2 companies that like I completely trust, I plan on working with full time, I'll definitely let you guys know, refer you guys to them, all that type of stuff. And like I said, I mean, if you guys want, I mean, obviously you can do whatever you want. Like I said, one other guy that we've worked with recently is Chris Palmer, SEO. Like we said, we just recently, 2 days ago, just submitted another order with him where we're actually doing a guest post. These are actually supposed to have some very good link juice. What you're essentially doing is you're posting your own article, or you can pay them and they can, you know, make an article for you. And I believe he's actually pretty affordable when it comes to like copywriting services for blog content and stuff like that. But we went ahead and submitted our own article, and like it says right here, should be a DR of 40 to 49. Again, DR is not everything. It just gives you at least somewhat of a idea of, you know, the authority of this link. And then of course you want to see that it has good traffic. This one, if I recall, it was like $35 or $40, because I know that's important, right? How much does it cost? It doesn't show on here apparently, but I know it's something like $35 or $40. Of course, we also did the 15 branded foundation backlinks as well. Still waiting to see the results come in from that. That's the other thing is, once these companies actually go and they submit the backlink and the backlink is posted and all this stuff, the backlink doesn't just show up overnight because it has to be indexed. It's just like when you create a new page on your website and you have to go in to Google Search Console and you type in the URL and then it'll tell you, whether or not the page is on Google. Like this one obviously is on Google, but say it said this is not on Google, you would hit request indexing, and then usually within 1 to 4 days in most cases, that page will be live. Same thing with your backlink, because especially when you're doing a guest post like we are doing with this one, for example, that is going to be an entire new page. So from a traffic standpoint, obviously, one, the traffic's going to say 0 because it's a brand new page, but it may even take a little bit longer to show up because say they get done with this by August 30th, for example. It'll probably take until at least the first week or so of September for that link to actually show up and be indexed. So whenever you see that, your orders have been completed, don't think that, oh, let's just go over to Ahrefs or SEMrush or whatever, and we should see that new link automatically, because that's not how it works. It usually takes anywhere between 1 to 10 weeks for that backlink to actually show up, be what's the word I'm looking for? Indexed, like I was saying earlier, because it has to be updated in Google system, them accept the link, and then boom, it pops up under your links. Another way you can keep an eye too on your links is if you go into your Google Search Console, scroll all the way down, there's a link button, and then it'll tell you your total external links. It'll even tell you what are your top linked pages. This is actually a good sign right here. Our pest control Plano, Texas page is now up to 15, which if I were a betting man, that is probably these. Because if I recall, I had put in there that I wanted it to be under our preferred pest management / Plano, Texas page. I do not recall off the top of my head, but if so, that would definitely make sense why there's smack dab, 15 of them. And then we did do some under like Murphy, Texas, and a couple other pages. So it's definitely encouraging to see that some of these are starting to roll in. We'll see overall, like we said, how things kind of progress over the next month or so. But again, I wanted to just recap in terms of backlink building. It is not cheap to get legit backlinks. It does take time. For example, like we said, this one was 35, 40 bucks. This was something like, I forget how much. I know the two of these combined were only like 60 bucks, maybe a little bit more. But overall, I spent about 100 bucks so far with Chris Palmer. And then over here with Goldie Agency, this link was actually $252. It was $280, but there's an easy little 10% code you can use. It's just like 10 off or something like that. So we got $28 off this link. But this is a $250 to $300 link. So we definitely expect this link to be worthwhile, right? Like this one link alone should do some very good works for us. So, and again, this one's going to be done no later than September 15th. So, like I said, I'm interested to see how the next month or two goes for our overall just website analytics and traffic. We can see here just based off of the 6 month that our traffic is obviously already increasing as our number of referring domains is going up. So that is a good sign already. Like we said, some of this stuff is already starting to take effect that we've already purchased from Chris Palmer. But yeah, that's the overall update for like the website. And then, like I said, real quickly, I just wanted to give you guys an update because you guys know that we recently moved our Plano, Texas page over here. Where was it? Somewhere ironically right where this number 6 is. You'd think that'd be a number 1. So we're somewhere literally right around this number 6. We may be closer to this number 1, but we're right in here. So it's interesting to see that that one is a number 6. But yeah, if we look out overall, now keep in mind this is I believe a 7-mile radius. Usually, I'll do this search on a 5-mile radius, which if you actually look at our 5-mile radius, which is about right in line with these right here, we're actually ranking very, very well. I mean, we're averaging like number 1, number 2 across the board. And now we're even starting to get some number 2s a little bit further outside that 5-mile radius, around like a 6-mile radius. So we're starting to slowly but surely get some reach. This is very encouraging. And it depends too, based on the time of day you run it. Is it during your business hours, after your business hours? But in terms of just being in a super competitive area that we are, I'm not going to complain about this reach at all. Not to mention, if we actually look at our calls over the last, few months, obviously we moved the location April, May, which is why we had the drop in calls. Then June, of course, we saw a little increase. July, we saw a pretty big increase. So far in August, we are at 13 calls. And I should say as well, whenever you're looking at your current month, don't take it too serious because it's usually anywhere between 2 to 5 days delayed. So say this is just roughly 3 days delayed. There's probably been, just off the top of my head, probably at least another 5 or 6 calls. And that's just from the Google Business Profile alone. That doesn't include these statistics right here. Don't even include people that actually, they saw your listing, hit your website, and then called you. As soon as they hit your website, everything just kind of goes out the door. That's where, whenever you're looking at your performance, that's where you want to take your website clicks into consideration. Now, I'm not saying that, okay, you got 14 website clicks, that means you got 14 calls, but usually that's where you want to use CallRail, because CallRail is going to give you the most accurate number in terms of how many calls and leads that you have. Using this, it just gives you a cool little idea of, okay, this is how many people hit the call button from the Google Business Profile. So when people are looking at your business profile, how many of them hit the call button? So in July, we had 34 people. So far in August, not including at least the last 2 to 5 days, we've already had 13 people. These are quote unquote free leads, guys, because we don't pay anybody anything to manage this. All that we do is we do everything in house. We add photos, we edit services as needed, we add updates on a weekly, sometimes even daily basis. I think I already said, but we add photos. And then, of course, we focus on getting reviews. In all honesty, if we did a better job of getting reviews on a daily basis, we'd probably be ranking a lot higher. For example, we just had our last review already. It's crazy how quick time flies. 4 weeks ago is the last time that I think this is most recent. 4 weeks ago, that's the most recent that we've had reviews come in. So, I mean, like I said, guys, all you have to do is just do what Google literally shows you. Like, they literally tell you, edit your services, fill the description of it, add photos on a regular basis, add some updates, get reviews, reply to the reviews. Just do that simple stuff. And then, of course, make sure that your website is organized in terms of your service locations. Get backlinks to those service location pages. And one, your website will start kicking butt. But two, it's funny because the Google Business Profile, from what I've noticed, seems to work hand in hand. The more that I start getting backlinks to our service location pages, the more we start ranking in terms of Murphy, Texas. Like, we didn't have any backlinks in the Murphy, Texas area. Now that we added just a whopping one, we're already starting to expand our reach down into like the southwestern portion of Murphy, Texas, and then the northern and west portion of Murphy. Like, that's not a coincidence. You can't convince me that it's just a coincidence. So, yeah, it all intertwines at the end of the day. Do what you can to save yourself lots of money so then you can invest into the portions that you just don't have the time or skill or even knowledge. Like, I will fully admit, I do not have the skill, knowledge, or even time to worry about building backlinks. From what I understand, it's a lot of work, which is why the ones that are legit cost a lot of money. I mean, there are some backlinks out there that if you wanted to get one from like a very, very, very large website, you're probably looking at well over $1,000, just to put in perspective of how much these backlinks are worth for you. But yeah, just like I said, I just wanted to give you guys this overall update video just because I know it's been, man, already like a week and a half or two since I came out with a video for you guys. I'm hoping that possibly, once things start slowing down a little bit, we'll be able to do a live stream here and there. We'll probably not be doing them as frequently as we have been in the past, just because, the business is finally getting to the point where like it's, keeping me pretty busy at the moment, at least until we start hiring technicians full time over winter, early spring. And yeah, like I said, just post when I can for you guys. Like I mentioned earlier, if you want, there's a group of over 300 of us in Discord. There's over 100 of us in the Facebook group as well, where you can pick brains of not just me, but other business owners that are in the pest control industry. If you're not already subscribed, by the way, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon as well. That way you won't miss any future videos, shorts, live streams, anything like that that we do. From what I understand, I'm one of the only guys in the pest control industry. There's a couple of us, but I'm one of the only ones that tries to, just keep it real and post like just straight up business content. I don't post as much about like the chemicals or being out in the field, even though I hope to get more videos like that in the future for you guys. But I try to focus a lot on like the actual business aspect of it, the behind the scenes stuff that no one really talks about. Everyone talks about how they're, getting customers and what chemicals they use and this and that, but no one really, from what I've seen online myself, from my own hours and hours and hours of research, goes in and, just openly shares, what they're doing to actually get those customers. So that's more of what my channel is kind of about. It's just me literally documenting my entire business journey. But yeah, other than that, I think that pretty much sums up the video. If you have any comments, questions, anything like that, feel free to drop it down in the comments down below. And like I said, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. If you enjoyed the video, if you found anything useful from it, hit that thumbs up button and be sure to share it with somebody that you think will benefit from it as well. And I appreciate you all as always. And I hope you all have a good weekend or week if you're seeing this during the work week.